Hey everyone, welcome to Hobby Junk. Hope everything is well in your universe. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Super Famicom market, including the system, games, talk about using one in the US, and ultimately answer the question, why should you start collecting for the Super Famicom? I love the Super Nintendo. You see, the SNES was before my time. Since my earliest sentience, I remember my dad having an N64, so its relevance does predate me. But that doesn't mean I didn't grow up with the games. My uncle had loaded SNES and a selection of ROMs onto my grandmother's Dell Inspiron, and I played the shit out of those. Whether I was pounding through some Donkey Kong with my sister, or discovering Zelda via Link to the Past, it didn't take long for me to fall in love with not just the Super Nintendo, but retro gaming as a whole. Fast forward to now. Well, now I'm an adult, at least allegedly, retro games have exploded in popularity, demand, and price. Games that video game stores couldn't give away 15 years ago now sell for retarded amounts of money. I don't remember what search term I plopped into eBay while I was bored at work to find this Super Famicom listing I purchased from, but whatever it was, I'm glad I did it. Fast forward a week, and here it is. So, here's what we're going to do. As I show you these, we'll be price checking from three sources. The first is American Super Nintendo items on eBay. The second are my purchases from Japan. Last is the DK Oldies website. Why? Because people love to shit on them and I thought it'd be funny. We'll tally the totals at the end and I'll break down all the prices along the way. Starting with the system. Now, it's not an unpopular opinion that Americans pulled the short straw when it came to the Super Nintendo's design. Maybe it's because the previous marketing strategy for the NES to make it a gray square worked so well, or maybe it's because us Yanks were just too fucking stupid to keep our glasses of Kool-Aid off the top of our consoles. Either way, the rest of the world got this, which in my mind looks so much better. The radical difference in looks is only skin deep. The Super Famicom motherboards are identical in every way to the US ones. Same look, same model number, same function. Both regions are NTSC, so this will work right out of the box on your TV. My system came with OEM AV cables, which use composite output. You also have RF output available, or, what I was excited to use, S-Video. I got these cables on Amazon for $10, and they even had HDMI if you don't have a square shitbox laying around to plug your system into. Power delivery, on the other hand, well, the OEM power supply is rated for Japan's slightly different electricity output. Some places I've read online say this is fine and just go ahead and use it here. Some say it'll work, but slowly over time cause wear on the power adapter and have it run slightly hotter, where it'll possibly die out one day. Electricity isn't something I like to play around with, so using this wasn't going to be my path forward. The Super Famicom is not compatible with the US SNES power supply, but a Model 1 Genesis power supply will work perfectly. I also picked this up on Amazon for about $10, so definitely go this route if you pick a Super Famicom up. Saving $10 is not worth frying your console or burning your house down. My system also came with two OEM controllers. Now, the Super Famicom didn't have the weird two-tone purple buttons that we got. Here's a USB version as a comparison. Also doesn't have the concave buttons on the Japanese version. One note here is that there are two versions of the controller in Japan. One is the same 6-foot cabled one we got here in the States, and one is this one, a very short 3 feet. Now, this isn't an issue with how my retro setup is arranged, which I guess today really only consisted of a modded Wii and a RetroPie NES Classic clone, but that's besides the point. If you need a long cable, either look for a seller that specifies the cord length, or break out another Alex Hamilton for an extension lead. Now, at DK Oldies, for a system in good condition with two OEM controllers, you're looking at $300. Take a look on eBay, but the US version, and we're looking at a similar listing for about $171. For mine, $70. Since this is the first time discussing price, I'll add in here that everything I'm discussing here is available now for similar prices, and there's plenty of supply out there if you are interested in this as well. Next up, we're going to go through a smattering of Super Famicom games. I guess now is a good time as any to bring up that, the Super Famicom games are in Japanese. For the vast majority of games, this won't be an issue, but Super Nintendo is king of the JRPG, so you have to have access to those games. For these, I have two ideas. First is to collect all the Japanese cards, and then buy a flash cart to load the English ROMs on. I have a cheap AliExpress cart coming that I'll do a video on when it gets here. My other idea, also from AliExpress, SNES bootlegs. See, the Super Famicom games are different shape to the US ones physically, but their boards are identical. SNES games will play just fine in a Super Famicom with the right adapter, or after a board swap. So, buy and collect the authentic article, but swap in a bootleg English board to play it on. I'll be doing this with my copy of Mother 2 my sister got me. By the way, it was only $22. Okay, now on to the games. Super Mario World. This game is the pack-in game for the SNES. This game on DK Oldies is $35, which is a shorthand way to say highway robbery. US eBay has it for around $20 to $25, and I got this copy for $5. F-Zero. This is a game I've played a bit of, but I really need to go and play through all of the F-Zero games. I have all the ROMs, but I've never actually sat down and gone through them. You can buy it on DK Oldies for $20, on US eBay for $17, or from Japan for another $5. Donkey Kong Country. I love this entire series. From this game into the last one for the Wii U and Switch, they've not made a bad one yet. DK Oldies has it for $35, which is steep even for this fanboy. American eBay, $25. And for the Super Famicom, $7. Super Mario All-Stars. This is the versions of Mario 1, 2, and 3 I personally think of since I played it so much as a kid. DK Oldies has it for $35, on US eBay it's $28, and mine was $10. Mega Man X, or as it's called in Japan, Rockman X. This absolute gem is $45 on DK Oldies, $35 on US eBay, and I paid $15 for this one. My favorite Super Nintendo game, Castlevania game, and one of my top 5 games of all time. Super Mother Castle fucking Vania 4, or as it's called in Japan, Kumajo Mother Dracffuckula. Anyways, this comes in at a hefty $70 on DK Oldies. US eBay has it for $45, and I got this one for $28. Seriously, fuck Symphony of the Night, this shit slaps hard. And now, the big delta. This one's pretty yellow, but it's Kirby Superstar, so that's okay. Another one I've played countless hours of. DK Oldies has this for $95. Doesn't get that much better on eBay. $64 for a US copy. How much was mine? Only $15. Now come on, at this point, who cares if they're not in English? So, after all of those prices, where do we add up? Before I reveal the total tally, I need to add something important to the Japanese price. Shipping. Yes, I hadn't mentioned it until now, but I paid a whopping $54 to get this stuff shipped over to the US. Steep, right? Well, let's hear the totals. At DK Oldies, this haul would cost you $635. On eBay, we're looking at $408. Now, what did I pay? Even with the fat shipping charge slapped on, I'm only out $209. Throw in the power and S video cables, I'm still only at $230. In conclusion, let me ask you, what better fits your budget? Which one would you happily chug along and collect while still paying for adult things like food, housing, and staplers? I know my answer, and my answer had 2 nukes dropped on it in 1945 after its home country's emperor refused to surrender unconditionally, following a 4-year conflict kicked off by a surprise attack on the USA in 1941 because they were supplying weapons and other various supplies to Great Britain. Happy gaming now!